Hi everyone, it's Diane. Welcome back to my channel, Scrap Addict Creations. Today we're going to work on Hope and Kindness one more time. I'll do some more later, but not after today for a few days at least. I'm planning on grabbing out my blushed paper and printing up some of my daughter's Hawaii trip. I'd like to get a little start on that, and I'm kind of feeling like I want to do something a little more summery, a little more I don't want to say vibrant because I guess the paper is pretty vibrant. The pictures probably aren't as vibrant as the paper, but I kind of just want to go a little tropical, maybe lose myself in some tropics for a bit. So this will be the last Hope and Kindness for a smidge. And this is this side. I show them when I put them to the side. This is this side. I'm not sure where this one is officially heading. I have an idea where I started, and I'm going to see if it ends up that way or not. I did cut out this this piece, and I'm planning on possibly covering these up. This stick is just a sticker I had stuck on there because I was trying to see what I liked. Let me set that aside. So this piece right here is a Cricut cut, and it's got multiple layers. I did omit a couple of the layers though, because it was just getting too much, and I didn't want to use that much paper for it. So I cut the pink layer, which is the other side of this yellow. I just cut little bits of the yellow for these flower centers, and then I fussy cut kind of these underneath for the green, which is that pine coordinating cardstock. And then it's white daisy. And then the outline of this, I did use Harbour, just the Harbour cardstock on the dark side. I'm, like I said, thinking I'm going to be covering up these flowers. I'm not sure. We'll see. Let's just say we'll see. I pulled these back out. These were flowers that I cut the other day. And then I have the background. I've just got regular Kraft, 8.5 by 11 1/4. This Desert Rose floral pattern, this one is 5.5 by 8.5. This one is technically 3 by 10 3/4. I just used some scraps. I do have a cut file below that has the actual size. And I think it was 10 3/4 I was going for on that one. The polka dot paper here, it's kind of a Harbour with a pink polka dot. So oh goodness. I think it is kind of this desert rose color, but it looks a little lighter. So could be in the peaches. I honestly don't know what actual color they're saying that is. So that one is 7 by 9. And then I have another one over here that's a 1/2 inch by 8.5. Some of these I didn't cut all the way. Some of them I did. I just kind of was, just laying them out. This is a zip strip. It's cut to about 8.5, about 8 actually, because I cut 1 inch off of it for the other side where I was kind of going. And then this one is just a piece of the yellow. I wanted to kind of pull yellow in different places. So this one is cut to 8. Is it? No, I think it's like 7.5. Nope, 7. And then this one is 1 inch. I do know these sides are 1 inch for sure. So this one would be 7.5. And this is a zip strip. This is one of the papers that, let me grab that actually. So I think I have it pretty close here. Yeah, I have it right here, as I cut off one of the zip strips for it. Okay, so this is one of those with the borders. I was trying to use this one as well, and I didn't care for it, but I really liked this one, so I want to try to incorporate that one. Worst case, it doesn't work. And I did use my scallop punch on that. To do that, I did put a scalloped cut in the cut file. Okay, so this one is a little longer right now, and I will cut it down to 8.5, and it's 1/2 inch, and that's that yellow. This is a zip strip that is at the top of this polka dot paper, and I cut this down to 8.5, I believe. Yeah, because I want that down there. Okay, photo mats. I might have some other, I've got those other zip strips over there. Let's go through the photo mats though, that's fine. So the large one is 5 by 7. Then I have 3.5 by 5 and 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And one of these this one is 3.5 by 5. This one is the one that's 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. I just kind of cut my pictures down. I did print these a little bigger so I could get more of a center on that. I liked this picture of Nora sitting in the chair with the books. I like that you could see the books here. These were very candid shots. She was just kind of being a test subject for Mama while Mama was getting stuff out. So these are more of a candid shot, which I, of course, love more candid shots. So this is that zip strip again. This is a zip strip, and this is a zip strip. So I have multiple zip strips I've used on this. Some are cut to 8.5. Some are left at 12 right now, and I'll cut them down to 11 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to try working on this page over here first. We'll just see what happens. And I think I had wanted that. This is how I've been playing with this for probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. We left and went and got dinner, ran a few errands, and I came back and I'm like, I'm still working on this bit. Let's see here. So that one and this one are ones that are going to go up there. I was kind of thinking this one down here as well as this one. And then I was thinking I wanted this down here. I wonder if it would be better to kind of go with the pink. Oh my goodness, yellow. It's pink on the other side. So, and that's the side I've pretty much been wanting to use, but maybe having that yellow down there. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside a little bit, put those over there. I'll put this one down first to have it be my anchor piece. Let's split that apart, grab my trusty little ruler, and let's see here. How far down do I want to go? I always do this. I take off the adhesive and then I'm like, oh, where am I going to go with it? Silly. Okay, so about right there, I think, is a good place to start. Oops. Did I move that? Okay, and I'll be trimming the edges because not everything's going to be perfect. I was just kind of playing with things and then I would just grab a scrap and did have a little bit of a problem because I was cutting some scraps of this paper and they were not straight on 3 or 4 sides of it. I mean, it was pretty much a janky thing to be cutting off of, but I didn't want to waste the paper. So yeah, let's see here if I flip that around. It's just this paper. I was trying to use up some scraps, and that doesn't always work. That's not always the best thing to do. Part of this won't matter, and it could be, yeah, that's not even. And that could be the whole problem. So that thing did move. Let's put that there. And what I'm just going to do is go up here and put this even and see if that works better. It does. So there was my answer. But like I said, these are all scraps that I'm playing around with for the most part. So it's kind of hard to figure out where the even is and everything. And once you find it, you're like, yay. And then you look at the pile it took to get to the even part and you're like, oh, goodness. Okay. So the next part of this, though, I want to put the picture. So this one's going to kind of be centered so you see the pink. This one is going to go more to the edge over here, and actually I think it's going to come down a smidge if I remember correctly how I was kind of playing with that. These are the bottom, these are the ones. Okay, so I wanted certain colors to be close to certain colors, just because I thought they did a little better next to those colors. And this one right here. Okay. This was part I wasn't for sure on. I kind of only wanted this part way on there. Let me look up there. So I'm going to put this one on first, and I'm just going to trim it so that this has the adhesive still on it and I can use it someplace else if I want to. I'll probably have to, of course, trim this down a little more, but at least I'm getting it on here so that I can balance those others out. Okay, there we go. So then I'm going to build up over this pattern paper. And then after, when I get to the second side, I will build just 1 inch onto this side of the paper. I saw that somewhere and I thought, I like that. So that's where I'm headed with that. That's why there's that 1 inch over there. Okay. And these don't have to be as perfect. In fact, I can see that that yellow isn't. I think I want it a little straighter because not as much of that will be covered up. And I will be probably basing this off of that. So they don't have to be perfect, but I want them as close as possible, I guess I should say. Okay. Yeah, it's because these aren't even, that end. I'm trying to make the end even when it's not. So I'm going to overhang that so I can trim it up. And then we've got this one, and it's got little hearts on it. It's in the kind of the blue tones, the Harbour tones, I guess I should say. Okay, let me trim some stuff before we go any further. So this cut file for the book, and the reason I chose it is because she's, of course, reading books. The cut file for the book has more flowers. It's kind of like a, let me put this over here. So it's got this flower that's kind of coming down, and then it has another flower. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, at one point I had it, and now I am not seeing it, but it had another flower over here. And those are all in that cut file. If you have the Cricut access, you will have access to that in that file. I'm not sure it's one I would use again. I'd love to say that I would, but I don't know. Honestly, this paper probably would have been smart to use the Sawyer, I think it was, that has the bird in the book because of the books, but I didn't want to deviate and have this random paper in my album when I was really focusing on this hope and kindness. Okay, so now I can fix this one a little bit more, kind of center it. Okay. Okay, so I really like that part. That's kind of where I was headed with this top piece. It's the bottom piece that I'm really struggling with. So I'm going to move over to the next page for a second before I finish on that one and see if I can get this going where I wanted it to be too. So I'm going to start actually by, of course, moving this closer so that I can continue these papers because I want their placement without them being, I cannot get the back off of this one. I want them placed down because I don't want this polka dot paper to cover them up. I just want that to be a little continuation of those strips. Now in the cut file, I just left the strips as one length. I did not make these 1 inch and the other. That would be on you just to cut them. Easy enough to do, so it's not that big of a deal. My goodness, it's very staticky here today. It was in the 40s, I think, something like that. I don't know. My husband told me we're probably going to get some snow, so yay. Actually, a good snow day sounds good. Although I don't really go out much now anyway. Okay. So now that I've got that down, I can kind of focus on this polka dot paper. And my goal today really was to use this polka dot paper. I looked at some of the layouts that I was liking and nothing uses this paper. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. Why is nobody using it? So I thought, well, I might as well, make that my little challenge. There's just a few little challenges today. And where did I set my ruler? I need to have these like all over. So I definitely want it closer. So maybe I should just put it here because I want it Again, I always take the adhesive off. Ask any of my dear friends. I'll be like, yeah, she's always got paper floating around on her fingers. Okay, so a little bit further than that. And let's see how that puts us over here. Yeah, that works. Enough. Okay. Okay. But I do like this. Oh gosh. There we go. I do like the polka dot. I think it's really cool. I'm not sure that I would use it again. It's a little bit more difficult to use than I thought it was going to be. And I think I would change up what papers I used with it. I don't think I would use as much of this pattern. I think I would go more solids, maybe make this into a tag or something. I don't know. I was just trying to kind of grab some patterns that I thought kind of worked with it. Not necessarily do they work with it. Mm. And because I am putting these up here, I'm going to, let's see here, about there maybe. Okay. And then this will make it even down at the bottom. It was nice to use up some of these scraps though. That I will also say that was nice. And then I want these yellow ones. Oh, I want to put some of these zip strips on here. And where do I want those zip strips? Come on, line back up. I think I want about there showing. And then I think I was going with the stripe first. And I'm only going to be wasting 3/4 of an inch of this one. Go close to that ruler. Not under the ruler, just close. This was also one that I was debating. I really wish this one could go either way. Like maybe it was random hearts, because I think it would be kind of cool to have that one on there. Random hearts going this way as well as this way. I think it would offer a lot, but it is what it is. I really like this zip strip, and I've had a hard time using it because it kind of just doesn't match anything. And so the reason I put that in the center is because when I put that there, you've got 3 different patterns, but this one isn't touching that on either side. And like this pattern right here, the stripe matches that, and the flower on this zip strip kind of matches it too. So it gives me some abilities to use some papers I wouldn't normally put on here. Okay, put those aside, and I'm going to trim those zip strips. Okay, and now I can put this little guy on here. Just want to kind of put that down a smidge. I want to see just a smidge of that up top. And then at the bottom, I wanted to put it down towards the bottom. Okay. This is a great way to save some paper and, those scraps you have. Okay, so this is kind of the gist of this one. And then we've got the picture. And that's the majority of it. I did add extra. I think I always add extra on this anyway, but this craft paper tends to bow a little bit prior to putting it someplace. So I wanted to add a little more structure to this. And I think that's pretty even. Let me double check. Well, pretty good. Okay. Okay. So now to play with the embellishments and to figure this piece out. Okay, so we have that, just kind of continues. A lot of patterns on here. I know it's kind of sometimes overwhelming. I think that I chose wisely. I like having this yellow right next to this desert rose. So this is what, Sundance. And then this Harbour here and this stripe. And I like incorporating the stripe on both papers. This one needs to be incorporated over here, and that's why I was kind of looking into putting it just down here at the bottom. I just kept going back and forth on did I want the yellow, because I also wanted some more yellow over here at the top of that or at the bottom. Okay. And then when I put this down, I didn't want it to kind of mess around with that. So let me look up top. I think I like that. I did try to put a pattern piece of paper down here. Nope, it did not work well. It looked really bad, really, really bad. But it's always nice to take your pattern papers and turn them into little zip strips too. Not that I like a lot of strips on my paper, on my layouts. I think there's a time and a place. And this one was planned, and so I'm okay with it. I mean, I could have carried that over there too, but I think just the uniqueness of having the, oops, I cannot get my finger underneath that. The uniqueness of just having the three go over, I think is better than having them down here too. But I could be wrong on that also. Always wrong, there's always a chance that it would look better that way. In fact, I'll set it over there and we will see. No, not loving it. If you do and you want to do it that way, if you're copying this, go for it. I think it's a grand idea. I think I would have to then take this one over too, and possibly this one. And I don't really want all that paper coming over onto this side. I kind of wanted to keep it a little simpler. Because even though there's a lot going on, it's also a very simple layout in a very broad word. I'm sorry. It's okay, it's very busy layout. That's why I'm going to use some of these to tone this down. I might put that there. I was kind of liking the flowers around that love. And I was kind of liking the idea of possibly the happy up there. And then I've just got these little leaves. Now, there's not a lot of sage on here, but the only leaf I had was this one from the Harbour, or these really, really big ones. And I didn't want a big one. And I was kind of cutting corners. So I don't know. And maybe I'll just put one leaf and won't put the others. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I started this with the intent of one thing, and it could go completely different. I did like this sticker from yesterday right there. I kind of like that it tied it in, and that's one of the reasons why I was kind of looking at changing the flowers up. This is from the paper. It's one of the flowers off of this paper. I didn't go with the bigger one. I went with this kind of medium size because this area isn't that big, but I can use that little leaf right there. This leaf I wish was like closer, but it's supposed to signify that there's something in the book, which is cool. I mean, it's not cool. It's just, it was different than where I would actually put it, and I could always add something like that. But I liked the concept of the flowers falling over here. I thought that was kind of a cool, like, little gist about it. And then there is the option of putting one of these flowers over here instead with these little bits around it, kind of hiding those pieces. Let's see here. I'll be going over. I mean, that's kind of cool too. It's amazing how many options you have, and then you're just playing and you're like, I don't know. And it could be that I don't use these at all, which is fine too. I mean, I might use some more stickers though. me pull out the sticker sheet. Pull out one that has more of the flowers on it because I used a bunch of them. So I kind of like this little guy. I wonder what that would look like. It would need some more around it, that's for sure. And there we go. Okay. I could always incorporate more of the yellow over here, but that's the same exact flower, so I don't really want to do that. Or I could cut out this flower here. What would that look like? So this one is just so big. But if I cut off just that part right there, that could possibly work. Oh, what to do, what to do, what to do. Okay, here's the piece I actually cut flowers off of. Kind of leaning towards that one. It's got that little white flower too. Let's try that one first. Yeah, I don't want the leaves and such around it. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, kind of look more that way. I do have these little leaves here, so I could stick those under there. I think I like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm glad I went with that one. And then over here, I think I want another flower, but I wanted a different color. And I could go with that one. It's just the same colors. So we've got yellows. This one's an orangier one. And I do have this piece right here too that I could add the flower to, but I think I don't care for that one. Let's see. Oh, I wonder, it'd be kind of nice to put another one of these daisies on here. Do I have anything with a larger daisy? That one paper is pretty tiny, and I don't have really a whole one here. They're still pretty tiny though. Let me look at the other cards. Okay, so that's not going to work. So now I got to go a different route. Maybe we'll try this one right here. It's kind of got the oranges, so more of a nectarine type color, which after having the more Sundance color there, I think having some of this nectarine might be okay. There's also some little white flowers there that could work as more of a sprinkling. Yeah, I'm not going to say this has been an easy layout because it has not. grab a small pop dot and see, maybe 2. Probably could have gone with the big one. And if I wanted any of these little white ones, I do kind of like those. Cut around them. Okay, I'm kind of liking this. I like that the yellow, the Sundance is shining through on this love. So let's see here. I want this there and I want this flat, but I'm going to use this tear tape instead of using wet glue in case I decide I want to move it. Little bit of, you know, ability to move some stuff. Is that how I had it? Yikes, I don't remember. Oh, I kind of like that. I kind of really like this "You Are Amazing" right there too. I'm going to push all that down because I want that just to stay. I'm really glad I fussy cut that yesterday so that I had it today to kind of play with again. Okay, get this down and then focus on those other flowers in that book. There were some really good titles too online. I just thought they were a little too big for my layout, but they'd be great for a 12 by 12. Okay, let me look at that. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm going to punch out these letters and see if this happy will work too. I don't know if it will. I kind of don't like letters that don't have the little dots on them, like for the center of the A and the P's there. So I'm worried that once these are popped out that I'm going to be like, eh. But it's not too bad. Doesn't really fit, but it needs something up there. So I don't think this one really looks good up there. I think that looks good with the picture, and I think I can live with that happy there. So let's put this little "You Are Amazing" on the picture. Have that coming over. And then I'm just going to put some adhesive on both ends of this happy, because I don't want to use wet glue in case I decide to alter some stuff later, or if I come across the perfect thing. Okay. That is totally not even. There we go. Okay. Okay, then over here, the book. Yeah, I put a bunch of pop tape behind this. I should have pulled out that roll of tape that I have somewhere that is kind of old. It would have kept it a little lower too, but I opted to go with the pop squares. I do love these pop squares though. It's funny the static though that we're dealing with today because we haven't had static for a few days. So That always happens when it starts getting cold. You start noticing that things stick to you even more than normal. I remember when we first moved here, I didn't understand the whole static thing, and we were shocking each other constantly. You'd walk into a room, you touch the light switch, and it would shock you, and you're just like, what the heck? So it really wasn't something I'd ever dealt with before. But it's usually when there is some, oh shoot, you know what? I'm gonna use this little adhesive. I meant to give this to Nancy the other day when she came over because I'm not gonna use it, but I think it'll be fine for these little flowers. uh, but yeah, the shocking things. I remember walking up to a light switch and just kind of going like that because I knew it was going to shock me. And it did. Okay. Yeah, I think these little flowers, I think they do a pretty good job of looking like they're kind of coming down. And if you open up the cut file, you will see kind of how this flower is supposed to be. It just had like a flower here and then this one that I don't care for with the leaf coming down like right there. So it had another one that matches this that is somewhere on my desk. I don't know where. But I think using the flowers from the kit is a lot better. Let's see. Let's start with this one. And I'm going to set those happies up there so I don't lose them. So this is kind of my thoughts on this one. I just really wanted to use that polka dot paper. This is where that stemmed from. But that's my cutie patootie Nora, and she is sitting in that chair being a really good sport for Mama so that Mama can set up the photography area for some pictures of Allie and John and Rosie because they were in town and we wanted to have them, as you've seen in the other layouts I've done with this paper. But I don't know, just so cute. And the little pink star there on her shirt and the polka dots kind of match the polka dots. So that's where my thoughts were on this little guy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come play today. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you would love to see more of my videos. Leave a comment. I always appreciate those, and I try to get back as soon as possible on those. And have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.